How to create a high-impact fundraising culture without donor fatigue. First, let me talk to you about the automation effect. Back in 1908, Ford released the Model T, and for about 100 years, all cars were the same. You had to dedicate 100% of your energy and attention to driving the car. Sure, technology advanced and improved, but fundamentally, they're the same. You got to control the acceleration, the braking, signaling, changing lanes, turning the wheels, until 100 years later, when Tesla came out. Now, Tesla was known for the electric motor, but that had been around for years. The real ingenuity behind Tesla was a self-driving feature. Driving was automated. Now, instead of having to give 100% of your attention to driving, you could give just a fraction of your attention to driving. Yeah, it's true. You still have to pay attention. There are systems in the car that tracks your eye movement, where you're looking. You can't just fall asleep. You do have to give some attention, but just a fraction of it, and the car will drive itself. You just have to give it the destination, and it's going to take you there. Does your fundraising program require 100% of your attention or just a fraction of your attention? This is the difference between being mission focused and fundraising focused. When people are mission focused, yeah, of course you have to continue to do fundraising, but you're focused on the mission. But so often, nonprofits become solely focused on fundraising, and that takes away our attention from the mission. The most successful nonprofits build a fundraising culture that runs on its own. It's like it's automated. Most nonprofits struggle with meeting fundraising quotas, constantly funding emergencies instead of focusing on long-term strategy, and focusing on minor gifts instead of focusing on major gifts. But what if you could step back and let your organization run at full speed without you needing to micromanage every detail? See, here's a harsh truth for most. Trial and error fundraising strategies, donors being treated like ATMs, and the scarcity mindset. The reality, only nonprofits with an automated fundraising system can say, we have a fundraising culture that runs on its own. My name is Stroman, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to create a high-impact fundraising culture without donor fatigue. I've helped dozens and dozens of nonprofit organizations do this, and I would like to help you as well. I'm also going to share with you the biggest mistakes most nonprofit executives make when trying to increase team performance, and I'll talk to you about how to avoid those mistakes. Also going to share with you the 2 leadership shifts that separate high-performing fundraising teams from unsuccessful development offices, and the proven 5-step framework that unlocks team efficiency, increases fundraising results, and creates a self-sustaining culture of philanthropy. The difference between struggling managers and high-performing leaders fall into 2 categories when it comes to fundraising performance. The struggling manager manages everybody instead of leading individuals. Teams struggle with division and competition, and they're always catching up on quotas instead of building long-term relationships. The high-performing leader builds a high-performing fundraising culture that executes autonomously, focuses on strategy, not micromanagement, and it has predictable fundraising systems that turn ideas into donations. What's the difference? The ability to optimize an organization's culture of philanthropy from the board to the staff to volunteers. The top 3 categories of people I work with: executives and development offices who want higher performing teams, leaders tired of being the bottleneck in their organization, and boards who want to scale without chaos. I want to talk to you about the people I call grinders. These are managers who want more productivity by simply working their teams harder and longer. They say things like, more transactions equals more results. Compare that to relationship leaders. These are leaders who believe investing in people is the best way to increase productivity. They say things like, people are our most valuable assets, or value the person over the purse. I'm going to give you an illustration that when we go back to the early 1900s again, the race was on to invent the world's first airplane that could fly. Most people were focusing on an engine. They thought if we had a better engine, bigger, faster, stronger, better technology, the plane will fly. But the results? Failure. The Wright brothers took a different approach. While the whole world was obsessed over engines, the Wright brothers looked at the plane's aerodynamics and wings. They focused on the actual framework. They focused on a plane that could glide without an engine first, and then strapped an engine to it later. The result? Success. That's why we know who the Wright brothers are today. They built the first airplane that could fly. Now, I want you to pause for a moment and let this next point really sink in, because it's the exact opposite to what everyone else out there is feeding you. Today, in the nonprofit sector, we are repeating the history of engine obsession. In reality, all they are doing is strapping a larger and larger, more complex engine to a fundamentally flawed plane. Because it comes down to this: if you won't invest to develop your team culture, then you are not a leader, you are simply a manager. So let's get down to business and show you the two leadership shifts that separate high-performing fundraising teams from unsuccessful development offices. Shift number 1, equip the entire team to master the art of conversational fundraising. And shift number 2, create a predictable fundraising strategy that works without you. If you have both of these in place, fundraising becomes effortless, results become automatic, and scaling becomes predictable. Now, the proven 5-step framework that unlocks team efficiency, increases fundraising results, and creates a self-sustaining culture of philanthropy. Step number 1 is a bulletproof asking formula. Yes, a foolproof, step-by-step system that makes donors say yes without hesitation. Step number 2, the high-dollar donor playbook. Stop wasting time on the wrong people. Identify, target, and secure major gifts from the top 2% of donors who are ready to give big. We all know that you find what you're looking for or less. Step number 3, fundraising on autopilot. Build a predictable, repeatable system that eliminates feast or famine fundraising cycles. Step number 4, personalized coaching and feedback. No more guessing. Get expert mentorship to perfect your ask and close gifts with confidence. And finally, step number 5, the confidence factor. Train your team to ask with zero fear, turning even your most hesitant board members into powerhouse fundraisers. What happens when you implement this system? Teams execute faster and with more precision. Leadership becomes effortless, not overwhelming. And you scale growth without increasing stress. Now, you may be thinking, I'll crack this code on my own. But did you know there's over 10,000 different combinations for a lock that only has 4 digits to choose from? You can try the hard way to figure this out. One combination at a time. Chances are you're going to get frustrated and quit before you find success. But what if someone already knows the combination who could teach it to you, saving you so much time, energy, and money, and bring you to instant success? Who else wants to learn how to create a high-impact fundraising culture without donor fatigue? We've worked with a lot of organizations. Are you going to be the next? I want to talk about who this is for. This is for nonprofit organizations who want higher performing teams. This is for self-aware leaders willing to address the bottlenecks in their organization. And this is for board members who want to scale without chaos. Equally as important, who is this not for? This is not for leaders who think work harder is the only path to success. This is not for people who aren't willing to engage the entire team. This is not for anyone looking for quick hacks instead of proven execution systems. And this is certainly not for people who blame others instead of taking responsibility. The better the fit, the better results. I want a win-win situation, a mutually beneficial relationship. This is a personal, custom-tailored one-on-one strategy session with you and me. Here we will really begin working to figure out what you want and how to make it happen in the fastest time possible. But I only have so many spots open, so this is not an indefinite opportunity. Time is of the essence. So right now I want you to click and apply and see if you qualify. I look forward to talking to you soon. Click now.